Tom, let's get into some AP All-Pros. I think that this year's list was pretty good. I think they did the guys justice. So let's start on offense. And at quarterback, we do have Tom Brady, and then running back, we have Todd Gurley. Moving on after that, Le'Veon Bell at the flex. Kind of funny, he got flexed out of the running back position.
He was the first team offense flex and the second team offense running back. Normally, the first team, that's the only thing that really matters, I think, in the end. But and I'm like, how do you get to be two? That doesn't really seem fair. So Antonio Brown, by the way, was a unanimous AP All-American, or AP All-Pro, excuse me. Wrong sport.
Too much college.
Wrong level. Hey, I was in Atlanta.
Hey, Tom Downey coming back from Atlanta.
I'm still a little bit sleepy, so excuse me there. It was no surprise for Antonio Brown. DeAndre Hopkins made a ton of sense as well. And look, there's a reason that three of those five people up there are the front runners, so to speak, to be the MVP.
And it's also interesting, you know, the small side note, 4 of the 5 on that list are AFC players. Obviously, later you'll see that the NFC dominates one of the parts of our list, but 4 of the 5 starting on the offense in the AFC. Let's go to the offensive line, because this is the list I actually wanted to talk to you the most about. I know people out there don't care about offensive line as much as we do.
I care about the offensive line.
Is David DeCastro now physically the best offensive lineman in football? Has he taken the moniker? This is a couple years in a row now of him just being absolutely insane.
You know, that's a really good question, and it's always tough for me to say, oh, a guard is the best lineman in football. I think he's a fantastic guard, and I think he's definitely one of the best ones in the NFL, but Andrew Norwell had a great year, and I think it's a little bit deceptive because a guy like Tyron Smith was banged up, Trent Williams was banged up as well. So he is definitely one of the best ones, but I don't know in the end if he's actually the best offensive lineman in the NFL. And I will mention a snub here for you right now. I am really surprised that David Bakhtiari didn't get All-Pro. He was fantastic this year. Now, yeah, he did miss 4 games earlier in the year, but I think Bakhtiari has emerged as one of the best linemen in all of the NFL. He was fantastic.
I don't want to say that outside of DeAndre Hopkins, this list kind of filtered towards playoff teams, but besides DeAndre Hopkins, the list very much filtered
That's
towards
also
playoff
what
teams.
you typically see
because
playoff teams have the best, the best players.
Them probably is, quote-unquote, the reason. Another guy on there before we move on to the defense, Jason Kelce there at center. Fantastic player, one of the best centers in football. Surprised that no Alex Mack on this year's list. He has been on the list in years past.
I thought Kelce was very well deserving of this award, and frankly, I kind of thought the 2 best guards this year were both in the NFC East.
Yep.
Jason Kelce and Travis Frederick.
As well, the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get on to defense, because I love the defensive line that we're bringing up here, because if you ask me, the defensive line this year, a play around the NFL, might have been the best that we have seen in years. Calais Campbell was amazing. Cameron Jordan was amazing. Aaron Donald and Cameron Hayward were both incredible. But that takes away from the fact also Fletcher Cox had an amazing year. Kawan Short, as usual with the Panthers, had an amazing year. Jarrell Casey, as always. Gerard McCoy as well. Just an amazing defensive line generation we're in right now.
And I think one just quick note here, you see DT listed for Cam Hayward, even though look, I did this intentionally because they listed him as more or less pass rushers and interior defensive linemen, and I kind of thought if we put up IDL, no one really know what we're talking about. So they went with DT just to keep it simpler. Calais Campbell and Aaron Donald were, I think, probably 2 of the easiest options on there. Aaron Donald, year in and year out, is going to be, at the very least, a first or second team All-Pro guy. He is incredible.
He, in my opinion, has to be. I think he's the best defensive player in football right now. The past 2 years, he's just been absolutely immense. Let's get into our linebacker core here. I think this might have been the easiest group to have chosen from the All-Pros this year. Bobby Wagner put up to about like week 10 of the NFL was maybe the best player on the was the best player on the Seahawks. Maybe was the defensive player of the year.
I agree.
Luke Kuechly, good comeback season for him, obviously coming off of that concussion from last year. And then Chandler Jones led the NFL in sacks this year. An amazing linebacker core.
I think Kuechly and Wagner are the 2 easy ones. I think you actually could have made an argument. Maybe you put Chandler Jones as a true edge guy.
Yeah, I didn't. That's kind of.
The voters felt differently. I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with him getting in the spot at linebacker. He was incredible this year. Those are 3 dynamite players.
Interesting name that we did not see on here was Tank Lawrence from the Cowboys, who had easily the best season of his career.
Yeah, he definitely did, and I was maybe a bit surprised Cam Jordan made the list, but I thought with the way Campbell played, those 2 are very quality options. The benefit was there were a lot of really good edge rushers. I mean, Khalil Mack, Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, Brandon Graham were all incredible. They can't all fit.
By the way, the NFC has kind of dominated the defensive side of the ball, and you're going to see that continue when we get into the secondary. Let's get into that. Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Rhodes, Kevin Byard, Harrison Smith, and then Darius Slay. Couple notes on this list. A, Jalen Ramsey making first-team All-Pro in his second year in the NFL is just crazy to me. They said it on the broadcast.
He's the best corner in the NFL.
That's kind of what they said, like very close to, if not already, the best corner in the NFL. Xavier Rhodes been consistent. Harrison Smith has stripped the title away from Eric Weddle for being the safety of the generation. This dude, now 3 years in a row, has been quietly, he didn't even make a Pro Bowl this year, and not that the Pro Bowl really matters, but amazing.
You mentioned the Pro Bowl. There were 7 people here, 7 players who were first-team All-Pro despite not getting into the original Pro Bowl list. Now, once everyone drops out because no one wants to play, they'll end up getting invited. But we mentioned Cam Hayward, how good he was. Jason Kelsey was not a Pro Bowl nominee. Same with Andrew Woodworth and Andrew Norwell on the offensive line. And then both safeties, Harrison and Kevin, were not Pro Bowlers, which is why the Pro Bowl means nothing, because those were the 2 best safeties in the NFL this year. And Kevin had 8 picks.
Yeah,
he was incredible. Harrison Smith plays everywhere from Minnesota. Those were very easy selections at safety. I don't know why they didn't get the Pro Bowl in the first place.
And then the last one, Darius Slay. I like that they have another defensive back position just in case they need to throw in a second guy. He was amazing.
I think it's a little weird.
It's a little weird,
but it also makes sense because teams just play nickel now. That's just what they do. So. And Slay was fantastic this year. A lot of good corners this year in the NFL, and a lot of very young corners as well.
No Marshawn Lattimore on that list. I think that he probably would have been favored over the last couple of weeks, but I think Xavier Rhodes kind of stripped it away from the last few weeks.
Marshawn Lattimore was so good this year, and maybe the one injury that Marshawn basically missed 3 weeks for kind of hurt him a little bit at the end.
Let's move into special teams, and Tom, I love this. Ram, Zerline, Hecker, and Cooper. The weapon, Johnny Hecker, second year in a row is the best punter in football, because he is.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense to see the 2 Rams guys there, Zerline and Hecker. Zerline had an incredible year before he got hurt, and you can kind of see the difference between him and Sam Ficken, which I think did play a factor.
I think so.
Kind of slowed down switch. Pharoh Cooper did not have a good playoff game, had some fumbles, but he was great all year. Agnew also a first-year player, and then Buda Baker got the nominee as the All-Pro Special Teams gunner, more or less, is what that
interesting, because Matthew Slater got the Special Teams one for the Pro Bowl, but again, like we have mentioned multiple times on this program, the Pro Bowl means nothing. Tom, who do you think was the biggest All-Pro snub this year?
There are a couple different guys. I do want to quickly shout out my boy Keenan Allen, because he was great this year. Didn't even make second-team All-Pro, which I thought was really weird.